Enabling a minimum of 350 trucks to enter Gaza per day, instituting pauses in fighting to allow aid delivery, and rescinding evacuation orders to Palestinian civilians when there was no operational need. Secretaries Blinken and Austin warned in their letter sent on Sunday to Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer that failure to demonstrate a sustained commitment to implementing and maintaining these measures may have implications for U.S. policy and relevant U.S. law, citing a section from the U.S. Foreign Assistance Act which prohibits military aid to countries that impede delivery of U.S. humanitarian assistance. A key topic in Tuesday's State Department briefing.
To April, the Secretary wrote at the time to Minister Gallant to make clear that we had seen the levels of humanitarian assistance plateau, and then after they plateaued, start to decline, and made clear that at the time that the levels were unacceptable and that we needed to see Israel implement changes. They did make changes. The changes that they made caused humanitarian assistance to increase. We got up to somewhere between 300 to 400 trucks going in on some days to Gaza. But the thing that the Secretary also made clear at the time is that the increase couldn't be a one-off, that it needed to be sustained. And what we have seen over the past few months is that the level of humanitarian assistance has not been sustained. In fact, it has fallen by over 50% from where it was at its peak.
Cited a national security memorandum issued in February by President Joe Biden that required the State Department to report to Congress on whether it finds credible Israel's assurances that its use of U.S. weapons did not violate U.S. or international law. It raises concerns that Israeli government actions, including halting commercial imports into Gaza and denying 90% of humanitarian movements, among other restrictions, have kept aid from flowing. Miller would not be drawn on the consequences Israel could face if it ignored Washington's appeal.
That today, obviously, we made clear when we released our report that was mandated under National Security Memorandum 20 that there are provisions under U.S. law that require us to make certain certifications, and to make those certifications, we have to see that Israel is not arbitrarily denying humanitarian assistance, making it into Gaza. When the Secretary made his conclusions under that report in April, he did so based on the changes that we had seen them put into place and the increased levels of humanitarian assistance. But of course, those levels of humanitarian assistance have to be sustained.
Secretary Blinken earlier this year concluded that Israel may have violated international humanitarian law using U.S.-supplied weapons and did not fully cooperate with efforts to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, but controversially stopped short of determining wrongdoing by Israel due to the complexity of the situation on the ground.
See here as results. This isn't about making a rhetorical statement. It's not about making any kind of threats. It's about seeing the situation reversed. And so that the civilians in Gaza who are not getting adequate access to food and medicine and other humanitarian goods today actually see, as a result of our efforts, a change in their daily lives. And that's what we're focused on achieving, and that's what we are trying to achieve through this letter.
Israel is the biggest recipient of U.S. military aid and continues to benefit from U.S. support, which has been described by officials as unwavering and ironclad. A Tuesday update from the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said no food aid had entered northern Gaza for 12 days and that people had run out of ways to cope. Food systems had collapsed and the risk of famine was again real. Shervin Bryceby's SABC News, New York.